while I was growing up, I always knew something wasn't right. Not that I ever felt that I had depression or I was anxious or anything. I just felt like something wasn't right. But obviously in my younger years, it was masked with drinking and partying and everything like that. I had this uber confidence that I could just put on even if I didn't feel it inside. And 9 times out of 10, I didn't feel it inside, you know, but having a drink probably helped me feel like I was Superwoman, you know. So yeah, so there was always issues, and I was a little bit crazy. I used to do some silly things and get myself into some really bad situations, which I think a lot of people have done when they were younger, you know. So I'm not going to beat myself up about that anymore. But the worst time for me was when I fell pregnant with Bo.
Wow.
That is when it really went bad for me. It was horrendous. Basically, I had to have a psychiatric nurse who came to see me every 2 weeks. I had a psychiatrist that I had to go and see. I was put on to.
Yeah, we heard. Where did we get up to? We heard you was on medication.
Yeah. So the psychiatrist prescribed me lots of medication that I was able to take whilst I was pregnant. Because basically what happened, I just woke up one day. I couldn't really talk. I didn't want to get dressed. I didn't move from the sofa or the bed all day, whichever one I was in, I wouldn't move. David at the time was working about 16 hours a day, you know, because he had a baby coming. So he wanted to work. So I was in the house on my own. And he always tells me, I laugh now, but he used to come home. And I either used to obviously be in bed asleep, or I would be on the sofa. It would be the summer. I had a sheepskin coat, a cream sheepskin coat, Ugg boots with the fire on, and I was just sat there like
Jesus.
Nothing. I couldn't leave the house because I'd have a panic attack. I don't know how. I don't know what happened. That was, I call it my episode. That was the first bad episode that I'd ever had. I did have some when I was younger, but not like that. I had thoughts when I was younger of, you know, of killing myself. And that's why I knew something wasn't right, but I never did anything about it. So that was the first time that I was really scared about what was happening, because I could not do anything about it. You could have put £1 million in my face and you wouldn't have got me out of it. Like, I could not physically get out of it. And that's why I had to have a psychiatric nurse, because they were worried about me and obviously my baby that I was pregnant with.
Were you able to care? Because that must have been, what, 7, 8 years ago when you were pregnant?
No, this was Bo, so 10 years ago now.
Oh, Bo's the oldest one.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah, no, it was Bo.
How were you able to care for him? How were you able to, did you?
So, this was when I found out I was pregnant. This was when this first episode happened, when I found out I was pregnant. And I think what it was everything that had happened in my life came back and bit me on the bum. Was it when I'd had Bo?
Yeah, once you had Bo.
So everything was under control at this stage. The anxiety and the depression, because I was on quite high dosage of antidepressants. And then I had Bo, and it was okay. It was all a bit surreal because I had a 36-hour labour. And then I had to have an emergency cesarean with him. And he was born and he was fine, and that was, you know, amazing. I felt slightly disconnected by the whole thing, I have to say. I don't know why, but I did. But, you know, I just got on with it. But then obviously at 2 weeks old, Bo got rushed into hospital. And we nearly lost him because he had he basically had no plumbing to his heart, so he had to have open heart surgery, and he was all right. That was fine, and even through that, I was okay. I didn't break down. I think I just knew I had to be strong. And also, in an experience like, it's kind of like an out of body experience. You're like, am I actually really going through this? But I think that's a coping mechanism to get through something like that. Anyway, yeah, you know, he came out of hospital, and then basically he had to go back to hospital for checkups, and it all went wrong then, and he had to have more operations, and he had a stroke. We had 2 strokes, and then we were told he had brain damage, and then we were told as a result of that he had epilepsy. So it was all quite surreal. I was a new mum who obviously, you know, was a little bit sensitive, who had her baby taken away from her at 2 weeks old, so I hadn't even really had a chance to bond, and I felt detached from it all because I didn't know how long Bo was going to be around. So I kind of like was coasting through life after that, just doing what I had to do as a mum. David was amazing. I don't know what I would have done without him. He basically took care of Bo. Don't get me wrong, I was able to take care of him, but he was a huge part of bringing Bo up. Anyway, that was that. So life went on, whatever. I was up and down, and then I got pregnant with Blousey. Pregnancy was fine, she was fine, it was great. And then I had another episode. I don't know where it came from or how it came about, but it did. I couldn't be left on my own. I couldn't care for the babies, or the children. I couldn't wash. I couldn't brush my hair. I didn't want to eat. I couldn't talk again. And that went on for about 3 weeks. And then they changed my medication, and then it all started leveling out again. But then I was like, I've got to get some help. So I went into
that's what I was going to say, actually. That's with my next question. You went and got help for it. So you did go to someone. Was it a counsellor, psychiatrist, psychotherapist? What?
Yeah. So I was a therapist for 5 years, every week for 5 years, for an hour. I'd seen psychiatrists and everything before. Well, as you know, Dee, I feel really strongly about everything to do with mental health and the help that's out there, or the lack of help that's out there. Yeah, so I'd seen psychiatrists and everything like that. Psychiatrists just prescribe you drugs. They ask you if the telly's talking to you. No, the telly's not talking to me. I feel like I want to kill myself. Do you want to hurt anyone else? No, I just want to kill myself. The only time they'll take notice is if you actually do it, or if you actually hurt someone else, which really frustrates me. You know, you going on about the stigma about mental health. No, the stigma's breaking down, but still the help is not there for people. I feel like unless you've got a lot of money, you can't get the help you need. You'll go to the doctor, they'll give you drugs. Drugs got me out of a really dark hole, and they probably saved my life, but they don't fix the problem. They mask the problem. So I saw the psychotherapist for 5 years. She was amazing. She changed my life. And she said to me, you will never go back to that place where you had your episodes. It won't happen again, because you know how to deal with it now. You know when it's coming. You know what you've got to do.
You're answering all my questions, which is great. Because I was going to say to you, what are the triggers? What triggers do you have? Have you been singing already, Jade?
No, I haven't.
Are you
know what? I waffle, don't I? It's like you're probably saying, I need to ask some questions, and I'm just going into one.
No, because
sorry.
That's fine. No, that's fine. So yeah, what are your triggers? What triggers? How do you know when you're getting an episode?
Well, I haven't had any for about 5.5 years now.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's
thank
amazing.
you.
That's
Thank
amazing.
you. It's too scary to think about. Like, I can't imagine going back there, because it's horrendous. It's just the worst thing in the world. Triggers. So I used to get triggered if I had a friend who needed help. I would help them, and I'd invest my whole self into that situation. That was a trigger. Giving all of myself to someone else that was in a negative situation, that wouldn't and couldn't help themselves. That wasn't good for me. If things weren't going right in my career was a massive trigger. Not being enough was a massive trigger. So that's a day-to-day thing. My insecurities were a massive trigger. It's all just stuff that I hate about myself that would trigger it. It only had to be something little that would happen, and then all these things, I would be like, oh my God, I'm just crap, I don't deserve this, I'm not worth anything, and then it would just, that's what would blow it all up.
Yeah. What would you say to anyone suffering with their inner demons, like you did, Jade, or do? What would you say to anyone that's not seeking the help that they need? To anyone that's sort of, watching this maybe, that are thinking, gosh, I really can, relate to what you're saying, but they're not doing anything about it.
I think that the first thing and half the battle is admitting that you've got a problem of some sort. Openly admitting it, not just trying to like push on through in life, because it will take you down eventually. You can fluff it over for only so long, and then it just erupts. You've got to talk to someone. Your doctor, yes, to talk to your doctor, but I don't believe they're qualified to deal with things like that, because everyone's depression, anxiety, mental illnesses are theirs. We're not all, we haven't all got the same. We're all different. So you can't say, right, here's venlafaxine, here's fluoxetine for 20 people, because those 20 people have got what they've got for different reasons. So,
and like you say, Jade, the medication, it's just a mask for anything that you're going through, when I guess the ultimate thing is to fight, so I know you can't always fix the problems, but at least make an effort to kind of get to grips with how you're feeling and why you're feeling like that, and how you can help yourself. If you just prescribed a load of drugs, then you don't actually learn how to deal with things, do you? You just take the medication, and that's it, really.
Yeah, I mean, there's all different things. Somebody could become depressed because they've lost someone, but they've never suffered with depression. People can work through that, but there are also people that have had problems from day dot. You can't work through that with tablets, because that's something that's deeply embedded in you, and you need to unravel it and start again. Do you know what I mean? Because even when I was on my tablets, it didn't stop me from having bad days, really, but I still had really bad days. It does not stop it, but it does get you out of that hole that you need to start thinking straight, because that, when you get into that, it's like you're having an out-of-body experience, and you're totally detached from the person that you are. It's like you're looking down on someone. It's not you. It's really weird. It's like you're walking on clouds. Like, you don't feel like you're there. It's a really strange situation. But I think everybody should have therapy. They do it in the States, don't they? It's like 10 a penny out there, but here it's not. But it's not available to John Smith from down the road, who's got a normal 9-to-5 job, and a family to look after. He can't afford to go and pay £120 a week to see someone to help him with his problems, because who knows, that might have to go on for years. You're not going to go there and be fixed in one session.
Yeah.
So it's not, I just get really frustrated with you know, everyone selling this, it's okay not to be okay, be can't not. No, I think all that's great and it's breaking, but you're still not helping the situation. People are being open about their issues, but who do they go to? They haven't got anyone to go to. So they're not fixing anything. They're just letting people talk. Well, you can't go and talk to your mate because she's not qualified to, you know, like me, I'm not qualified to tell you what the problem is or how to fix you. Do you see what I mean? That it's not readily available for normal people. You know, they can't go into the Priory for 2 months. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you seem in a really good place now, Jade, which is amazing. As you said, you haven't had any episodes for 5.5 years, which is great. And I think, yeah, as you say, going therapy is so important and peeling back those layers. I've had therapy myself, and you know, I wish I could afford to have it all the time, because I think, as you say, it should be like going to a doctor's appointment, just getting a checkup almost. You know,
I totally agree with you.
It's so expensive. But Jade, last question. I just want to ask you one more thing. Who would play you in a story of your life?
Brilliant.
Could you not have texted me that beforehand so I could think? Look, my chest is going red. I'm getting all stressed now.
Oh God, no.
This is when the screen goes blank.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, lost connection.
Oh no, she actually.
Oh no, she has.
Has she done this deliberately?
What's I'm here? No, I'm here. Can you see me?
Yeah, we can now.
Oh God, it would be really hard, you know.
I'm trying to think of someone now.
Is it Kirsty Waring?
Kirsten Waring. Yeah, a lot of people.
You know, oh no, maybe
not. Quite like her. You're quite a similar type of actor, aren't you? Kind of gritty and raw.
You know who I was going to say, but I don't think you look. I don't think in looks. But I was thinking maybe Jamie Winston.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know what? There's not a lot of. I think she's great. Do you know what? There's not a lot of those raw actors, are there? You know, those working class actors. They're all very middle class, I think.
When you were saying about Poor School, it reminds me of Anna Shear. Those gritty, because obviously Ray Winstone, Kathy Burke, or Patsy Palmer, they all went to Anna Shear. That real gritty London. Yeah. Actors. There's not. There's not many of them around, are there? Like that.
I don't think there is. I think acting is very much a middle class industry. You know, middle and upper class. There's not a lot for us working class actors. Well, no, there is for men, not really for women. I don't think they really write that many really gritty parts for women. I think America's pretty much got there. The kind of characters they write, and they think quite outside the box, you know.
Yeah.
A woman doesn't have to be in everything. She can be a killer, you know, she can be a psycho. But I think obviously people just want to see women.
Which you've played. You played a bit of a nutcase in
I either play prostitutes or psychos, so
it's not typecast, Jay. Don't worry.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Jade, honestly, it's been amazing having you on. Honestly.
Oh, it's been so nice to hear your story. I've really enjoyed listening to you.
Totally.
Oh, I hope I've made sense and not like babbled on, and you've not been able to ask what you needed to ask.
No, you've been answering my questions before I asked them. They're brilliant.
Talent that I have.
Oh, thank you, Jade.
Oh, it's been so nice, Jade. It's so nice to see you again.